Big Fight, sponsored by 666bet.com.
This is James Helder for IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella and 666bet. I'm at the press conference today for Billy Joe Saunders vs Chris EUBANK Jr. With me I've got Box Station's very own Steve Lillis. What's happening, Steve?
Hey, not a lot, mate. I'm just good to see you again, James, out there with your video camera, following everybody, catching everybody. No man's safe, or woman, from that video camera.
Indeed. May I say, since you've lost a lot of weight, skinnier you has become a lot more funnier on the television.
Yeah, well, I get all that. Oh, right, yeah, really, that's very, very nice. Well, I'll tell you what, you're doing the comic jokes, they Cougs laughing, Andy Alien's laughing here. I don't see what's funny about that.
I wasn't sure if that was Alien or Maynard.
They look the same, don't they?
Brothers, aren't they?
He's lost weight as well, Andy Alien.
Is he?
Look at that, like a Greek god. There's a stony weight come off that midriff.
Greek statue.
There's another stone to go, but there's a stony weight to come off it.
Is that the camp now? Everyone's got to lose weight?
No, Steve was selling his old suits.
I was selling my old suits, job lots. These are one of my old job lots I've had adjusted that I'm wearing today.
We've only got the same wardrobe, we just swap in the seasons, see? So it's his turn to wear the fin suits.
Let's talk boxing. Finally, great to see all the guys coming face to face today in terms of just being around each other and having a little bit of banter amongst themselves. It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, can't come quick enough Saturday night. Absolute fantastic card. Best card in Britain this year by a long way. Going to be a fantastic night. You know, great fights all the way down the bill. You know, you're even forgetting fights like Frank Buglioni, Andrew Robinson. Yeah. What a great fight that is. But the four main fights are fantastic. You can make cases for either or in all of them. You know, but obviously it's Chris EUBANK Jr. against. I'm just sorry, I'm lying because he's shadow boxing here.
Yeah, the shadows ahead on points. The shadows ahead on points.
The shadows won on points. Cougar will get disqualified using it. No, Chris EUBANK Jr., Billy Joe Saunders for the British, European, Commonwealth middleweight title. Fantastic fight. You know, one of those fights that, you know, the winner, it'll always be on his legacy.
Yeah, indeed. Where does the loser go from here, though? It's such one of them fights, isn't it?
And look, they're still very young, 25, both about 25. I think about 20 days between them in birth, being born. And look, the loser still has a career. Billy Joe's talked of retirement and put pressure on himself by doing that. I don't think he'd retire if he lost. And likewise, Chris EUBANK, they can still come again. We're seeing more and more now that a loss doesn't end a career. You know, whereas in previous years, once you lost, that was it, you were finished.
What did you make of Chris EUBANK Jr.'s comments in terms of he doesn't seem to think he needs a trainer? He just goes out.
Look, everyone needs a trainer, but you know what? Go back to when his dad fought in the 90s. They always did things differently. I think back in those days, the quote that Ronnie Davis used to, you know, admit was, "I'm the best paid bag carrier in the world," I think he even said. So, you know, it is what it is with them, and they're alluring to themselves. We've seen that in the build-up to this fight, but should we be surprised he was like that to a certain extent? His dad, when he was boxing in the 90s, when he was in his pomp. I think sometimes to the EUBANKs, particularly the dad, it's all a game to them. They're playing, it's their game. It's like, we'll make you jump, we might do what you want in the end, but you'll jump over so many hurdles, they'll take you around a Grand National course half a dozen times before they do it.
I was looking forward to EUBANK Senior being here today, because obviously the subplot between him and Frank Warren, while this has been going on, it's been fascinating, hasn't it?
It's all part of his game, I was saying to him. It's all a game to him, you know, and it's but the game causes other people headaches, doesn't it, all the time? You know, it's not like getting up with your kids Christmas morning playing a game of snakes and ladders or something, is it?
Hiding all the Christmas presents.
Yeah, you know, or hide and seek with your kids. It's a game to him to give you as much aggro as he possibly can, and I think he wins, he succeeds it all the time with people. He wins it. He used to win in the ring, and he wins with that.
Yeah. Obviously, the main event, Tyson Fury, DERECK Chisora, the rematch. It's kind of been overshadowed by Saunders EUBANK Jr. But let's not get it twisted. It's a massive fight, isn't it?
Well, the middleweight, EUBANK Saunders.
No. Fury Chisora.
Hey, the winner's going to get a world title fight against the WBO title in the summer. Whether that be Vladimir Klitschko if he stays on holds on to the title, or whether he relinquishes it or has a defence and then takes on the winner. The winner is guaranteed a crack at the WBO version of the heavyweight title. So the stakes in that fight are so high, especially for someone like DERECK Chisora. You know, he's lost 4 times already. You know, Vitaly Klitschko.
Helenius.
We'll forget there. Helenius won. Vitaly Klitschko, David Hay, and of course the first fight with Tyson Fury. If he had a 5th loss, it wouldn't make him a bad fighter, but he'd always become the man, almost the bridesmaid.
Like a gatekeeper.
Yeah, the gatekeeper. The minute he went one level up, he got beat, but gave a good account of himself. So I think, you know, for Derek on Saturday night, a loss would be catastrophic for him. You know, Tyson Fury it's only the first loss, he could come back again. But Derek, even if he lost a close fight, he would still be labelled as the nearly man, wouldn't he?
Yeah. How much can we really learn off the first fight where Derek was really out of shape? Tyson, by his own accord, was a young kind of maybe a novice in terms of where he is at now. How much can we learn from him?
We can learn nothing from the first fight. Derek was terribly out of shape that night. He was totally unmotivated. It was almost as if he thought he just had to turn up to win. I mean, put off by Georgia. Tyson has improved a lot since then. You know, Peter Fury's with him now. He's in fantastic shape. They both are. The one thing about this fight, there'll be no excuses when it comes to conditioning. Something that both have been accused of lacking in the past. And I know, you know, before he got injured, DERECK CHISORA was in fantastic shape, and he seems to be in a good place. You go to that gym in Mill Hill, and it's a quiet gym. There's a lot of peace. Everyone seems to know their job, and they're all in the right place.
Got a good camp there. Just want to touch a little bit on Bradley Skeet versus Frankie Gavin. Massive fight for both fighters, really. Frankie on the back of a tough defeat to Bundu. I know he's boxed again and been out in an 8-rounder since then, but it's kind of a make or break fight for Frankie, isn't it?
Massive fight for Frankie. If he suffered another loss, he's twice in a few months. Okay, he's lost to someone who's, should we say, world class. Maybe not world championship level, but is world class. If he lost to one of his biggest domestic rivals, then you really do wonder where he'd go. The thing with Bradley Skeet, if he lost, he can still come again at this level.
Last thing I want to touch on is, how does this card coming up this week, this Saturday, compare to the PPV card that we
Look, it doesn't compare. It's a much better card than, you know. I'm not here to knock the pay-per-view. You know, people have had their say on social networking. I'm not to say it was a dire card. Look,
you run the risk with these big fights.
You run the risk. You know, the thing with pay-per-view, what I will say, almost not in defence of the other night, but to the casual fan in pay-per-view boxing, the main event is the be-all and the end-all, and that was sold like it was going to be the greatest cruiserweight fight of all time, and it wasn't. So that's what leaves the taste in the mouth. This is a much better card. You know, the much more competitive all the way down the build-up. We're saying, you know, Bullioni Andrew Robinson is a terrific fight. That's good. You talk about Fury against Chisora being overshadowed. That's been totally forgotten.
Not to mention Sykes Walsh.
Sykes Walsh is a fantastic fight. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with those two lads over the last couple of weeks filming them. That's a hell of a fight. That's a 50-50 fight. Look, it's a much better card. I dare anyone to sit down and say it's not as good as the other night. But that's not to say, you know, I'm not going to knock the pay-per-view the other night. The main event didn't work, and it's in pay-per-view. It's the main event that most people buy it for. If they had had a 12-round burn up, and you know, everyone would have forgotten what the undercard even.
Yeah. That's the thing. You run the risk, don't you? If the main fight on the pay-per-view don't catch a light,
you know, the only thing it don't do, you know, when there's a pay-per-view, it's the whole industry doesn't do well, because you get people, you know, the casual fan who only comes in for mainstream events, they think every boxing match is like that, so it hurts the trade all round.
All right, well listen, excitement for fight week. Good to see the fighters here together. Going to let Richard Maynard have the last word. Oh, sorry, it's Andy Alien. Anything to add?
No.
Soft seats in Brighton?
No comment. I'm up before the board next Wednesday.
Cheers, lads. Thanks, Steve.